Mm-hmm. That's fresh. Good
morning.
Morning. Good morning, you guys, and happy Monday. It is Momentum Builder Monday. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, let's see who we have in the house. Let's say good morning, good morning. Kristen, St.
Brandy,
Louis, Brandy, Jerry, Veronica, Brittany Burns, Emerald, Tiffany, Laura, Kayla, Ashley, Molly.
That's so funny.
I love it. So many inner circle people this morning.
Ivy
Vance, and I think she was on the live before, right?
Yeah.
Good morning, Stacy. Some of y'all, it seems like, have some privacy settings. Ooh, keeping it private. Okay, man, I love Mindset Mondays. So today's a mindset conversation, okay? And the point is, you know, with every mindset conversation to just keep it real with you guys so that you'll be able to have a realistic expectation and also the right perspective with regards to the journey. Because here's the thing, this is a journey, okay? And we've talked about, you know, the concept of the iceberg a lot of times, right? Like when somebody's looking at, let's say, somebody's 1 year before and after, all they see is the top of the iceberg. They don't see everything that went into it, okay? And the reality is that in order to see that change, right, what we need to focus on is everything that's underneath it, not the before and after. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think that is one of the most misleading elements with regards to any process in life in the 21st century, right? Whether it's, you know, with regards to success in your finances or in a relationship or in your weight loss, it's all the same. Right? Like, you don't become a millionaire overnight. You don't become a billionaire overnight. And anybody who tells you so is a straight up liar. You don't lose weight overnight. You don't change your body overnight. Okay? That requires work. And why is that? Is because nothing changes if nothing changes. Right? That being said, you have to change. Oh my gosh, that was scary. Do you guys hear that? That's Zoe. That's Boogie's best friend. She's probably scratching herself and it sounds like somebody's knocking on the door. But nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't change your thoughts, you don't change your act. If you don't change your act and you don't change your behavior, you don't change the outcome, right? Like your body today, right, is nothing but a byproduct of all of the decisions you've made throughout your life and all of the actions that you've taken for better or for worse. So when you see somebody with a six-pack, do you think that they're very consistent with having positive thoughts and being consistent with their actions? 100%. Right? Now, what if you have positive thoughts and you have good actions, but you don't look like that yet? That means that you need to give it more time.
Mm-hmm. Keep being consistent.
You got to keep doing it.
A lot of people fall short also because if you don't see a certain result within a certain time expectation that you've set, mm-hmm. then a lot of people give up.
Right.
And I am going to share why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, because we talked about this right before we went live, and I say this only because I feel my energy different, and I think it's important that you guys, that we're transparent with you guys, and you know that if we're acting a different way, that that you know that there's a reason why. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is not about me. This is only about you understanding why. If I have very little to say today, it's because I'm processing things in my own mind. But yesterday I had a in my mind, life-threatening event. And so if I say any more, I'm going to start crying. All that you need to know is everything's fine and everybody's alive and we're all good. So if I have little to say today, I want you guys to know that I love you and I'm going to share, but I'm processing stuff. Okay, so now we go on.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's very bold of you.
Don't make me cry.
No. Okay, so remember, nothing changes if nothing changes, okay? So like wherever the problem is that people get too attached to the result. People get too attached to the result. You should be attached to one thing and one thing only, and it's called the process. But the problem is that people don't even want to hear about the process. I'm going to share with you a conversation that we had with our very first business coach, who we ended up firing after 3 months of working with him. He was a sweetheart.
Yeah, but firing sounds like a harsh word. We transitioned to another coach.
Whatever.
Which is the same thing.
But, you know, we were telling him about our vision and what we're doing, and he's like, Sarit, nobody wants to hear about the process. Mm-hmm. Right? But I'm like, but they need to. Like, that's why they're struggling. But they need to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, it's not about a before and after, right? It's about everything that happened in between to lead you to that before and after, right? So your success within your journey, any journey as a matter of fact, right? Or lack of thereof, right? Is dictated, okay, based off of your level of consistency with regards to the actions that you're taking each and every day, okay? And you know, a lot of times, a lot of people, especially clients, right? Some of you guys in the inner circle have challenged me to this question before, and you're like, but when do I get to be blah, blah, blah? I'm like, if you're focused on the when, then you're focused on the wrong thing.
And you're always gonna struggle.
And you're probably struggling if you're asking that question because mentally you're blocked. When you're blocked mentally, you're focused on the wrong thing, which is called the result. Mm-hmm. Right? What you need to focus on is the process. Right?
You need to embrace every step on the journey because every step has to happen for you to get to the destination. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you actually notice that your results accidentally fall into your lap because you're no longer focused on when am I going to get this thing, when am I going to get this thing. And then it also comes down to intention. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you said that actually.
Intention,
but
no.
Your intention is or your why. Your why. Is it surface level or is it really deeply rooted? Is your why because you want to look sexy on the beach? Because that itself is not going to get you to where you want to be. Mm-mm. Is your intention to be the best you possible? Focusing on the steps that you need to take in the journey of being the best you possible is what's going to then throw the results into your lap.
Amen.
Because you haven't been focused on it. You've been focused on the actions that you've been taking. So you end up looking back and you're like, oh, holy shit. Or you put on a shirt that you haven't worn in a while. Or you put on, like some of our inner circle people, like Tony, you buy a pair of, size 12 pants thinking that, you're going to be able to fit in them soon. And you decide you want to put them on to see how close you are. And all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, they actually fit me. And those are the kind of things that happen. It's like, oh, wow, this thing happened. Because you haven't been focused on, oh, I got to get into a size 12 jeans. Oh, I got to get into this weight or that weight. You've been focused on everything you've been doing to just be better. And I made a video, it was last Thursday, that said, stop focusing on the destination. Like we so want to get to these places, but we fail to see that we need to actually become a different person, or we need to become an evolved person.
You know, you need to keep the destination in sight, right? Like you always need to have benchmarks, right, to lead you there. But what you need to focus on is the roadmap, right? I mean, think about it. If you were to, okay, we're in SoCal right now, right? And if we were to travel to New York, right? I can't just focus on New York, New York, New York. I have to focus on the roadmap that will get me to New York, and eventually I will get there, right? That is no different.
Yeah, what are all the turns you need to take? What are all the stop signs you need to approach? What are all the stoplights you need to go through and stop at? And the exits you need to take off the freeway?
And also, because this is the game of life, whatever you see on paper looks 10 times harder in life, okay? Because there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be accidents, shit's going to happen. Always, 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 right? So what you see on paper, right, is not the full definition of what's really going on. It's, you know, realistically speaking, this is what we hope for it to be, right? But realistically speaking, it's going to be 10 times harder because you're going to be facing X, Y, Z, A, B, C, blah, blah, blah ailments as well.
Yeah, you've got to reroute. Sometimes there's a road closure and you've got to go a different way.
Yeah.
The on paper is the cookie cutter, but if you've ever made cookies and the dough wasn't right, the cookie didn't come out looking like the cookie cutter.
So success, let's say if we were to compare it to the road trip, right, between SoCal and New York, right? Success would be basically like your destination, or at least your benchmark, right? That's what your success is going to be. But in order for you to achieve success, what you need to focus on is, you ready for it? You ready for it?
I don't think they're ready for it. Who's ready for it?
Comment yes if you're ready for it. Comment yes if you're ready for it. I'm gonna drink my coffee in the meantime.
Are you ready for it?
I don't think you're ready for this, baby.
For this baby?
What did the Destiny's Child say? Okay, they're ready for it.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Fun fact, when you're a foreigner and English is a second language and you hear a song in English, you make up whatever words just come to you because you don't understand whatever the song says.
I don't even know what they say, actually.
Yeah. So what you need to focus on is improvement. Increments.
Just small increments.
Increments. And you guys, you get so pissed off whenever you see improvement. Why? Because you're focused on the wrong thing.
You see improvement, but because it's not enough, you're upset.
There's a difference between, so look, improvement is the only thing that's going to lead you to success, right? But whenever you see improvement, you get upset.
You want more.
Shitty ass attitude, you're greedy and you're impatient. Did Warren Buffett become like the world's like greatest stock market investor overnight? No, dude, he's 70 years old. He's been doing it for 50 years.
I think another way to look at it is, did he get to $1 billion without getting
What's his net worth? Do you know?
I really don't know, but probably $1 billion. Did he get to $1 billion by skipping 100,000 or skipping 500,000 or skipping 1 million? Like, you have to get to all these places before you get to the destination, right? Like, every checkpoint you have to get to 3 before you get to 5, right? That's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't get to 5 without saying 3.
The interesting thing, right? When it comes to the school system, you guys follow through. Like, there's no denial. But when it comes to everything else in life, for some reason you're blocked. And like I have a really hard time understanding why, honestly. Wow. 79.4 billion. Thanks, Ashley.
Oh, wow. I thought a billion was a lot.
Wow. Wow.
They all just fired up the Google machine.
So inspiring. That is so inspiring.
Warren Buffett's net worth.
I mean, look, how many increments do you think Warren Buffett had to get to in order to achieve that number? The most successful people in life are successful because they take massive action and they're consistent and they're patient.
And they know the game they're playing.
Yep.
They know the game they're playing, and they know it well, and they know all the rules, and they know all the ins and outs, and they know all the other people who are playing the game at the level they want to play the game.
And they don't get attached when things get unexpected, because they know that for as long as they stay consistent and they do the right thing, they're going to rise above it.
I think actually they expect that things are not going to go according to plan.
Right. They expect it to be 10 times worse, in fact.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't know why when it comes to the school system, right? Like everybody understands that, you know, from the first day of, you know, school until you graduate high school, like forget about college or master's, PhD. By the way, does anybody have a PhD who's listening to us? If you went to college or if you went to school after high school, drop a comment and tell us what degree you have. I would love to know that from a personal level. But, you know, like just regular school requirements, 12 years.
Or maybe you went to college and you don't have a degree. I like to say I finished.
Or School of Life degree.
A School of Life degree.
Would love to know that. Would love to know that. Right? So like when it comes to you getting your degree, right, in school, right? Like I see a lot of bachelors, MBAs, awesome. Like if you guys think about your schooling, right? Like the minimum requirement is 12 years, right? The maximum requirement, if you're doing your bachelor's, your MBA after your master's, maybe even PhD, maybe add another 4 years. Shit, if you're doing med school, then you add 3 years of clinicals, right? So it's anywhere between 12 years and 20, right? Anywhere between 12 years and 20.
Look at all these degrees.
What makes you think that anything else in life is going to come to you in 12 days? Or even 120 days. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret, right? Like to just share with you the reality of, you know, the need to focus on improvement and the power of the compound effect and the need to be patient and just stay consistent. Because here's the thing. Let's say if your body right now is average. Okay, when I say average, I mean like, you know, if you walk, you know, with your bathing suit on, it's like, you kind of look like most people, right?
That's average.
That's average,
the
right?
Most.
You kind of look like most people, like a little soft, right? Like, you know, you can tell that you love ice cream or maybe a couple of drinks.
American women aged 20 years and above weigh an average of 170.6 pounds. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, height, the average female is 5 feet 3.7 inches. Her waist measures 38.2 inches. Average.
Yep, average. So let's say if you're starting from average, okay,
give or take.
In order for you, let's say your destination, right, like New York, let's say your destination is to have abs. You're not actually gonna get into a position where you are now, like your belly's flat enough to start working on some definition and like, you know, body composition changes until probably 9 months going into your journey. That is if you're very consistent. If you're inconsistent, then it could take you anywhere from 9 months to 9 years.
This is the first average answer that I found, but I do not think the average woman is 5 foot and 3.7 inches.
I thought it was 5'5".
5? That's like 5'4". That's short. I feel like average is 5'5".
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Well, maybe it changed from 5'5" to 5'7" because all the food out there on the market has a shit ton of. Oh, it's 5'3".
3.7. So 5'4" almost.
Well, I don't know.
5'3.5".
Well,
that's like you're almost average, but you're tiny.
I'm not average. I never was.
That's just height. All of this is whatever numbers that. Whatever.
Tony, you're not average. You're
average,
unique
look,
AF.
Hey, listen, average is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like average simply means this is where the most people live.
Yeah, I'm
right?
way below
like,
average.
Now, if you're not happy being at the average standard, then great, you're improving. Like, that's why you're here, that's why you're watching this show. And when it comes to something like height or anything that you really don't have control over, it doesn't matter. You can be average. Now, when it comes to behavior and when it comes to habits and when it comes to attitude and when it comes to mindset, you can always strive to be above the average, and we all should be. And if everybody strived to be above average, the average would be better.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's say you're below average, right? Like, let's say you're walking on the beach and you don't look average. You look like, you're a little bit less than that. And I'm not saying it to sound harsh. I'm just saying it to keep it real. Right? Like, we all have that vision when we walk on the beach. What would an average person look like? What would a below average person look like? And what will a way above average person look like? Right? Look, if you're well below average, the journey is going to take you way longer. Way longer, like maybe 2 to 3 times as long as somebody who's starting from an average standpoint. Right? But then if you were to walk on the beach and see somebody with a 6-pack who's completely shredded, they're obviously way above average, right? Like, that shit didn't happen overnight. That shit took years. And anybody who will tell you otherwise is lying to you. Or lying to you and taking shit. Yep.
I think the best way to describe it is if you look very different than most people, you are either above average or below average.
Yes.
If you look very different than most people.
Yep.
Meaning, if you are, it doesn't really matter the height, but I'm just going to say the height so that you can understand the weight as well. But if you're 5'5" and you weigh 300 pounds, you look very different than most people, right? If you look like Sarit, you also look very different than most people. So it's either end of the spectrum or somewhere in the middle. And so all we need to do is move along the continuum a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. If this is average, and then we have on either side below and above, just find where you are. And this is always too, like, this is in your eyes. Like, nobody can tell you how you want to look. Nobody can tell you how you feel, where you feel you're happiest. You're the only one who gets to decide that. So we're not here to tell you, oh, you have to be this weight and this height, you have to have whatever. And none of it's about like whether or not we'll accept you or anything like that either. It's about what is going to make you the happiest, what is going to make you feel the best about yourself, what is going to make you feel inspired and happy to wake up and get dressed and feel confident when you talk to anybody. That is what we're striving for. So weight aside, height aside, If you're not where you want to be, work on just moving along the continuum step by step by step.
Okay. What's the name of our brand?
It's backwards to them.
Improve you. It's all about improvement. Why do you think we chose that name? Because for one, we practice what we preach, and for two, there's no more powerful word than that in order to achieve success.
And number three, we're genius. Duh.
It's called, you actually came up with that name, which is incredible. It's being on a constant state of improvement.
Constant. Even Sarit. Most people would kill to have Sarit's body. But even her strives to be better. Because does she need to be? Maybe. But that's only up for her to decide if she needs to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But human fulfillment comes in improvement.
Yep.
Improvement means you have a purpose. You have something that you're working towards. If you're not working towards something, you get depressed because you feel lost. You feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing with my life? Where am I going? If you have nothing to work towards, you will get depressed.
Yep.
You will not have any fulfillment. So no matter who you are, where you're at, how good it may seem to everybody else that you are, or how in shape you may seem to everybody else, or how rich you may seem to everybody else, always wanting to improve is where success lies.
And improvement is a state, okay, of acknowledgement that you're not where you want to be, which is amazing. You should never be where you want to be, right? Because if you are happy with where you're at right now, then guess what? You're going to start declining, right? There's no such thing as maintenance.
Well, if you're
bulking, cutting, maintenance. No, if you're maintaining, you're going down slowly but surely.
You can be happy where you're at. But I think what you mean by that is...
Like as a state of mind.
What you mean is complacent.
Yes,
If you get complacent, let's say you get to a destination and then you're complacent. You're like, I made it. Here's the thing, I don't think that's a real thing. I don't even think that exists.
Baby, way too many people are complacent.
But they're not happy. But they're not happy.
Right, they're
not happy. Because they're complacent.
Right.
But maybe not even realizing that's because if you reach a destination, if you were to be complacent, you actually are the person that will go backwards.
Yep.
If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Because if you let's say you get to where you want to be, I want to weigh 160 pounds, and you get there. The only way you're going to actually maintain it is if you're growth-minded and you want to keep moving forward. If you're not growth-minded and you get to a goal weight, and then you get complacent, you're actually just going to go backwards. And
that's exactly why bodybuilders, right? I'm not talking about the pros. I'm talking about everybody else who's doing a bodybuilding competition. That's why the minute they step off stage, their life sabotages them because they didn't focus on self-improvement. They just focused on bodily manipulation.
They got to a destination, and then once the event is over, then they stop with the behaviors that they had leading up to.
Yep. So can we all agree at this point that in order for you to truly achieve success, you need to be on a constant state of improvement? Can we get an amen, hallelujah?
Amen, hallelujah. Praise God. Praise God.
So in order for you to be in that state, you need to ask yourself this question: who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? The person who let's use that scale analogy of 170 pounds being the average, right? Anything less or anything more, right? Do you think that, a person who weighs 100, that same person, right? I'm not talking about a different person with different dimensions, no. Do you think that that same person, when they weigh 150 pounds, is the same person as when they weigh 170 pounds or when they weigh 200 pounds? Here's a trick. If they're going to keep it and build up on it, they're not. They could be. They could be, like the bodybuilder could be. But guess what? In a couple of weeks, it's going to be taken away from them. Okay? Because they're not focusing on who they're becoming. They're focusing on what am I getting. So your intention each and every morning, right? If you want to achieve real success is not what am I getting, right? When you step on the scale, your focus is what am I getting? What is this scale going to give me today? What is this scale going to show me? It don't matter, dude. Who are you becoming?
I love what Sterling said. Amen. Who am I becoming? What road do I need to take? And who's my road trip buddy?
Amen. It's so true. Yeah. And by the way, it takes an army to move a mountain. Right? Like transformation does not happen in isolation. Transformation of any kind. Why? Because other people have the answers that you need. And we're giving you the answer to why most people are blocking themselves from true success. Because they're impatient and they're focusing on the wrong things. They're focusing on what am I getting?
If you want to move a mountain, your army is here. There's 41 of you currently now watching live. That's your army, babes. If you're in the inner circle, you have your army.
Yeah.
It's a little stronger of an army because we're invested. But you have an army nonetheless. There's like 4,500 people in the Erin Sarit page. That's your army. Lean into the army. You don't survive on your own.
Yeah.
We need each other.
And remember, like on paper, it looks way simpler than in real life. In real life, there's going to be road closures. There's going to be accidents, right? There's going to be unexpected events. But just because you had one unexpected event doesn't mean that your trip to New York is canceled. What, are you just going to turn back? Now, that's the problem. That most people, because they focus, right, on what am I getting?
Yeah.
Right? Like when something unexpected happens, what do? Like amateurs, they fucking quit.
I better go back home.
They fucking quit. Like Michael Jordan, do you think when the game went unexpected and, you know, and one of his teammates just got injured and somebody just attacked him, is he just going to walk off the court? Winners don't do that. They persevere through that shit. They persevere continuously. And that is why it's all mindset. Right? Losers, on the other hand,
lay down.
They're like,
forfeit.
I'm so upset. I'm just going to give up.
I'm going to share a story.
Okay.
So, I recently did filming for a TV show that I will be on. And I had the opportunity to watch another competitor, another set of competitors from a different episode. And by the way, my episode airs on September 2nd, 2020 on the Discovery Channel. It's called Dodgeball Thunderdome. Anyways, you're going to laugh your ass off. But there was this guy, and he was really confident. He had an attitude. We're just going to say he had an attitude. You can make up your mind for whatever attitude you think I'm talking about. And he got, mind you, this is a course that he had already gone through. So he already knows it. And as he was going through the course, and there's 4 people on the course, and the first 2 people, the 2 best people, get to move on. The other 2 people are out. Well, and it's not just about who finishes first, mind you. So you could finish the course last and still move on. Okay, so keep that in mind. This kid, his ego was so in his way, and he was so focused on one result that he allowed himself, he legitimately quit. He quit. He didn't even finish the course. There were women that stayed on that course for 45 minutes to an hour trying to finish, and he fucking quit. He literally, he's like, oh, my hands hurt. And he walked, and he didn't even finish the course because he saw 2 people already finished. He saw 2 people made it before he did. So he thought, I'm out. There's no sense in trying anymore. And a lot of people do that. They think, oh, if I didn't get the result I want, I'll just, fuck it. Right? You get on the scale and you don't see the number that you want. You say, all right, well, this isn't working. Fuck it. Like him, he said, oh, I already lost, which he didn't even know if he lost or not, because he didn't give himself the opportunity to even finish. Finish the race. Finish the race. See where you're at. Reassess. Readjust. Recognize how much you've already accomplished up until this point, and then keep going.
Yep. Yep.
Don't just fucking quit. I was so mad. I was like, I could have taken his place.
Yeah. But hey, here's the thing. Look, we're all in a constant state of improvement. And especially if you're on the show live, or if you're watching this, later on YouTube. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do us a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. But we're all in a constant state of improvement, right? It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey, whether you're trying to come out of a downward spiral, whether you're trying to, move in a forward trajectory, or whether you've already achieved, an accomplishment that's wilder than your wildest dreams, right? We're all on a constant state of improvement. And, okay, it's the day or the moment that you don't focus on the incremental improvements, okay, with regards to your actions and your decision making, that's the day when you are just going to start losing the game. Weight loss is a game. It requires self-analysis, self-awareness, okay? Patience, dedication, determination, persistence, perseverance, 100%. None of that is going to happen in 30 days. In 300 days, you're going to start seeing a huge difference. But guess what? 300 days is not the end of your journey.
Yeah,
right?
I've said before, I think the reason that people get, for one, we get these unrealistic expectations because people promote to us that we can lose a certain amount of weight within a certain time frame, and though it may be able to happen, it's very misconstrued in the way in which it happens, or what that person's story is. Yeah, if you weigh 300 pounds, you could probably lose 10 pounds in a week, because you have a lot of it to lose. Maybe that's not your story. The other reason is because we're used to seeing transformation photos side by side, and because we can instantly see from one to the other, in our minds we make this connection of oh, that's going to be me, not understanding that there may be a year difference between those photos. Mm-hmm. What you don't see between the photos is the perseverance, is the persistence, is the consistency, are the failures, are the things that have been overcome, are the mountain that's been climbed, are the learning lessons that they've experienced, are this, right? No success is linear. It doesn't just go up. You know why? Because you can't go up until you learn how to go up, and you can't learn how to go up until you learn how to not go down.
Yep.
You gotta make a mistake, improve, make a mistake, improve, make a mistake, improve, and you go up. But it's not linear, it's jagged. And as long as you're okay with that, and once you accept that, you will make progress.
Yeah.
But it won't be linear.
And I want to, before we close this, I want to give you some grace for anybody who's struggling with the scale. And you're struggling if every time you step on the scale you have this anticipation of, I really wish, or I hope not to, then you don't have a healthy relationship with the scale, okay? So if you're that kind of person and you still choose to keep it in your house, okay, just like dating a partner that's not supportive, that's codependent, for one, toss it out. If it doesn't serve you, let it go. However, if you choose to stay in that relationship, regardless, that is your choice, right? Here's what you need to do. Before you step on the scale, commit to not focus on what you're getting from it. If you're worried about a certain number and you know that a certain number is going to give you a certain emotion, for better or for worse, by the way, if you're worried about a certain number, then you're always going to be disappointed. If it's good, you're like, why is it not? Why is it not more? If it's bad, you're going to be upset, right? Just like a codependent relationship. It's like every time, it's only a matter of time until you're going to be upset, right? So for one, okay, know that it's just a number, okay? And for one, know that no scale ever lies. The scale tells you the truth, right? The problem is that people have a hard time accepting the truth. When you see a number on the scale, okay, whatever it is, good, bad, better, okay, all you need to ask yourself, okay, like use it as a way to recalibrate your intentions. Is this what I was expecting? If yes, why? If no, why? Right?
And it can't be day to day.
It can't be day to day,
and too much fluctuation.
And it can be week to week either.
Week to week, like minimum of a month.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Minimum of a month.
Unless you're a boxer or a power lifter and you have weigh-ins because you have to weigh a certain amount for a competition. But also you're doing like some kind of like extreme weight manipulation. That's just a part of the process, like 8 days going into it. And you weigh yourself multiple times a day.
It's because the weight actually matters at that point.
Yes.
Let's be honest. Your weight, it doesn't matter. Because if you get undressed when you're about to get in the shower and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, dang, girl, it doesn't matter if you fucking weigh 170 pounds or 165 pounds. Nope. It's not a number. It has nothing to do with the number. Can we all agree with that? It has nothing to do with the number, but for some reason we get so attached to a number that we think is the magic number. There's no number. Because if you love how you feel, if you love how you look, if you're proud of yourself, the number does not matter. I could have to take a massive poop right now. And if I weighed myself first and then if I weighed myself after taking a massive poop, then I might weigh a little bit less. Does that mean I lost body fat? No, it means I lost poop. The weight doesn't matter. So, I'll leave you with that.
You should only focus on one thing and one thing only, and it's who you're becoming. And change takes time. Nothing changes if nothing changes. This is the casing of all of the decisions and the actions that you make. You want this to change? This has to change. This has to change. Your actions every day. Your thoughts and your actions, that's it. And over time, within 12 weeks, within 24 weeks, within 1 year, within 5 years, the change is going to be dramatic. You get drunk on a Saturday night, it takes you 3 days. It takes you 3 days to recover. What makes you think that if you started a diet on Tuesday, by Thursday you're going to be down 5 pounds? And if you are, it's water weight. It's definitely not fat. Because things in your body takes time to change. Recovering from a hangover takes 48 to 72 hours. Recovering from a workout takes you that long.
Was Maureen supposed to get on the scale?
I don't know. Was it her 4 weeks?
I don't know.
If it was your 4 weeks, then yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so so here's the thing. So Maureen said, yeah, I stepped on it today and I put on a pound. I was a little upset. Listen, you don't just put on a pound. If I drink both of these full mugs of fluid and they have weight, which is just, what's weight? Mass times volume.
Maureen, if you're upset about a pound, that's because you're at the beginning of your journey, and to be honest, you are at the beginning of your journey. We can chat about it on Voxer, but disregard it. It's like, what's his name? Again, Warren Buffett, right? Like, the stock market is having a bad day. I'm very upset things are going wrong. No, it's going to happen, dude. The scale goes up and down all the time.
And
it doesn't fucking matter.
And it's a science project. Don't try to read into the science project.
And don't just look at the scale. We measure your success in more than just the scale.
Yeah.
But if it was your measurements, and if the scale and the measurements and the photos are going in a downward trajectory, then don't be mad at the scale or don't be upset. Ask yourself,
what could I have done better?
What could I have done better?
Yeah, don't give up. Ask how can I improve? And don't try to improve now by going to do 2 hours of cardio and not eating anything because you want to make up for lost time. That will get you nowhere. Anyways, that's a completely different topic. I just want to say, do you have anything else?
No.
I saw all your comments at the beginning of this when I shared a little bit, so I just want to say thank you for the love. I didn't read them all, but I saw the love, and so I thank you. And hopefully this episode was helpful. If you know somebody or you thought about somebody while listening to this, please share it with them. Spread the love like we always ask. We do this for free just in hopes that, you guys will share it with more people.
I want to give you guys an analogy, okay, with regards to our mission. We're on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. I don't care what anybody says in the world. We are going to get there, and once we get there, guess what? We're then gonna set a bigger goal. But here's the thing. Do you think when I look at our Facebook page and I'm like, we only grew by 100 people this week? It's improvement. It's the same thing like the scale. Yes, we're very far off from where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you think when I look at Instagram, I'm like, only 46,000. Why are we not at 500,000 yet?
Why are we not at 100,000?
And we've been doing it, for 2.5 years? You guys, it's all about a matter of constant improvement.
Yeah.
We started from zero.
There were 0 people on this live at first. Now,
this time next year, there's going to be 3 figures. But you guys, how consistent are we? We're going fucking live 5 days a week.
And we don't care how many people show up. We're going to do it anyways.
Right.
For the first, it probably took like 6 months before there was even in the double digits.
Yeah.
Before it was even consistently like 10 or more people watching.
Right.
And so it's like, well, maybe, I don't know, whatever.
Like, imagine how would you think of us, right? If we were to, let's say, do a live and see 17 people, right? I know that on Monday days, we have literally half the people. I see the numbers. Do you think I tell Erin, I'm like, okay, Erin, there's only 22 people listening today.
Should we keep doing it?
We're just going to stop.
Yeah, never a consideration. You have to always just keep going. Mark our words. This time, next year, what are we in? August. There will be 3 figures.
Watching a live.
Watching. And that's not our goal, though. That's not our goal isn't, how many people can we get on the live? If we focus on that, we'll always be disappointed, even though it continues growing. Even I would say a couple months ago, there was maybe in the mid-20s of people watching live. Now there's in the mid-30s to 40 people watching live. Mm-hmm. And if I just look at a number saying, oh, it's not close enough, and we stop, guess what will happen for sure? Guaranteed is that nobody will be watching.
Yep.
Right? One thing is guaranteed if you quit, is that you will never reach your goal. You have to just be consistent, and you have to say, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for the number? Fuck no. I'm doing this for the people who show up. And I know that we're consistent and we continue to deliver valuable information. More people are going to show up, and we are going to be on our way to reaching our goal of helping 1 million people.
We're doing this for you guys, and the reason why we won't stop, and we know that we're going to reach 1 million, and we know that Improve You is going to be, and this is not about us, just like learn from, what we're teaching you guys is life, and we're going through the same thing each and every day. We're no different, okay? But you know, we're not going to stop until we get to 1 million, and when we do, we're going to achieve more than that. But the reason why we are going to surpass any other weight loss coaching company in the world, hands down, mark my word, I said it today, August 17, is because we're focusing on who we're becoming and who our team is becoming. We're not focusing on what we're getting.
Focusing on
Had
what
we
we're
focused
building.
on what we're getting, there's no way in hell we'd wake up at 4 a.m. every single morning for you guys. But we know that in order for us to be the leader in the weight loss industry, we're going to have to fucking grind harder than anybody consistently. Consistently. And you too. So remember, in life you have choices. And it's up to you to choose whether you want to strive for improvement and get better each day, or whether you want to just, you know, be reactive to whatever the scale tells you, to whatever. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take us, whether it's going to take us, you know, like 10 years or 30 years. I don't fucking matter. The mission's the mission. If you're like, look, I know that my body deserves more, then fucking show up. Don't worry about how long it's going to take you. Just fucking show up. The more you show up, the sooner you'll get there. That's it. That's it. So I wish you guys a consistent week. And like Erin said before, if this resonated with you and if you support our mission, then do us a favor and please share it. Because the more people who get to hear the message, the more people will learn the truth, okay, that needs to be told to the masses, and the more lives we'll be able to touch, and the closer we will get with regards to our mission. But until then, if we added value to just you today, then that's all that matters. We're grateful for that. All right, you guys, we're wishing you a constant state of improvement and an amazing week ahead, and we will see you tomorrow for Q&A day.
Bye.